It's Wednesday, January 4th. Uh, yeah, it's Wednesday, and this is my first vlog entry for the week because there hasn't been much going on. I've been, what's been going on lately is me just doing nothing because of my recent eye surgery. But we actually went to Winnipeg yesterday. My wife drove me in because I haven't been able to drive for a couple of weeks. And so she drove me into Winnipeg yesterday to see my optometrist, and he gave me the okay to drive. So at least I can drive now. He says everything's going good. There's one little issue they want to look at, but it does seem like it's super serious. They just want to kind of address something. So there's that. I'll likely end up driving in again soon, but at least for the most part, I can drive myself. The problem is, they're working on your eyes, right? So if they do anything to your eyes, they say you can't drive home. There's a test that they do, or something that they do to your eyes. Sometimes when they're looking for different things, they'll put an eye drop in, and what it does is it dilates your pupil, makes your pupil really big, and they won't let you drive after that. I've had that done so many times, and if it's daytime driving, I don't think it's an issue. Nighttime, it would be a bit of an issue, but officially they won't let you drive. So I have my wife drive me in that day anyway, which is, it's a pain. It's 100 miles round trip, and takes her whole day. Has to take the whole day off work, and it's a big stress. So one of the things we did in Winnipeg after my eye appointment is I've been keeping, see my beautiful little General drill press here. It's a nice little 14-inch bench top. It's about that tall drill press. I love that little drill press. I bought it, I don't know, about 8 or 9 years ago. I haven't used it really all that much. I've used it well, but I haven't used it tons, so it doesn't have very many miles on it. And it's a 14-inch drill press, and how those are measured is they say 14-inch, but what that means is the quill, where the chuck is, where the bit is 7 inches from the post. So what that means is you can drill something in the center of something that's 14 inches diameter or square. My covers are 16 and 5/8 inches square. So I've been wanting to get a little bigger drill press so I can drill my covers on the drill press. I've drilled them by hand. I've had a buddy drill them on his machine, and it's just more of a pain than I want to get into because I'm making hundreds of these every winter. So I've been watching on the for sale lists for drill press, and a larger drill press like that doesn't come up very often. One came up, and it's actually a 20-inch drill press, so it'll drill in the center of a 20-inch piece, which I don't need. The next step up from a 14 generally is a 17, and they go to 20 and 22, I think, from there. So this is a 20-inch, and it's a floor model, so it sits right on the floor, not on a cabinet like the one I have. And I stopped by to see that yesterday. I actually took, I screwed a bunch of pieces of plywood together earlier, and I took my bit and ran down through it in the guy's shop, and it performed well. And so I think that would make a good addition to my shop. So I want to go today and get it. Of course, there's always another guy, right? And you never know if there's another guy. He did show me the messages from the other guy, so I guess there is. But regardless, I don't know when the other guy's planning to go. But I thought, you know what, I'll just step it up and run in there and get it. A couple of logistical problems is it's a big drill. It's this tall, right? It's probably 6.5 feet tall and heavy. And I don't know if I could get it in my half ton. Half ton's got a 6.5 foot box with the tonneau closed, and I don't really want to run it outside. I don't think it's going to rain or snow today. Certainly not rain. It's not going to snow today, but there's a lot of cast iron and stuff involved. I don't really want to do that. So I got to thinking on the way home. I thought, I got a 1-ton truck sitting in the corner that should be ready to go. The 1-ton was actually had been plugged in, a block heater and battery charger, for quite some time. And it was going to be warmer then than it was going to be all night. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to start the big guy, get him in the garage here, warm him up overnight, just to make sure he's ready to go. I haven't driven him in quite a while, a few months, really. Like just around the yard maybe last fall, but that's about it. I think the last real work he did was sugar run and pulling syrup trailer, really, last fall. So I've got my air hose here. Going to just top up the tires and make sure they're good. And then I'm going to head to Winnipeg and hopefully grab that drill press, because it's an 8-foot bed on this truck with the tonneau, or the, not the tonneau, the canopy. So lots of room and a little more protection in the bed. So that's the big job for today. I've got a few stops I want to make while I'm making a trip to Winnipeg. So it's going to be, a few hours before I get home again, and then get home again. And I actually got the okay from the doctor to do some moderate work in here. So now I can start straightening up a bit. I might be able to work on my radial arm saw cabinet a bit. I don't know that I can do the cabinet part so much as just get that tabletop installed, so I can use the saw. Because once I can use the saw, then I can start cutting material. I've got a buddy coming tomorrow. He's going to help me do some stuff, and I don't know if we can bring plywood in with the tractor. And what I've done before, and I'll show you if I do this, is I bring the plywood in with the tractor, kind of hold it over top of the table saw, and then I'll just grab a sheet, slide it down on the table saw, and rip it that way. So it's pretty much no lifting at all until it's cut, and then it's a smaller piece, so it's much lighter. Yeah, so that's the big plan for today. So I got to get moving on this and get in there and grab that drill press. It's a really good price. It looks like a pretty well brand new unit almost, and it always makes you wonder what's broken. But I couldn't tell that anything was broken. It's probably about 30% of the price of that thing new. So I think it's good. A big drill press like that doesn't come up on the used forums very often. You see the little ones, the little tabletop units, which are fine if that's what you're using. If you're doing small work, that's fine. But doing larger work, even a 14-inch is not big enough. I really hate to sell my 14-inch. I love that little drill press. Maybe it's just because it's the first really nice drill press I ever owned, but it's a beautiful little unit. So, I don't have room for tons of drill presses, so I guess I'm going to have to sell it. I'll be putting that up on the forums, see if somebody will pay. I'm not giving it away, though. I vow that. I'm going to get some money for it because it's worth it. It's a fantastic little drill press. Enough about drill presses. That's today. And so have a great day and take care and have fun. It's Friday, January 6th, 2023. I haven't been doing very many vlog updates this week. There really hasn't been that much going on, but there have been a couple of events to report. And again, not a lot of beekeeping stuff. There's a little bit of beekeeping related, sort of stuff, woodshop related. I've been searching for a larger drill press, and I found one. There was a guy in Winnipeg selling this drill press. It looks fairly new. It's very nice. It's not a high-end brand, but I think it's going to do the job just fine. I think I did test it out. The guy let me actually take a little stack of plywood, my 2-inch Forstner bit, and put that in his shop, drive it down through the plywood, and I said, okay, I'll take it. So I did. And so I got that home on Wednesday, and got it in the shop. Thank you to my brother for all his help that day getting that and loading and unloading it, etc. So that was the big thing on Wednesday to report. There's always a bunch of little stuff, but I'm still not able to do too much. They're just still telling me, you really got to still take it easy. So I have to listen, and I want to listen. I need to make sure I can get back to work as soon as I can, but I don't want to compromise that vision, really. So that's the most important thing, but it's still important to get back to work. So yesterday, Thursday, a buddy came over, the same buddy who helped me with this last year. Really good guy. I appreciate his friendship and everything he does for me. And you can see the results of our labors over here. There's skids of plywood that are cut up into various descriptions. And we ripped 44 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood, 4x8 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood over this table saw. That's why the table saw is clear. The table saw is never clear unless you're actually doing something big time. So it's completely clear. There's not even crap on that side, which there always is. So we did that. It took us a number of hours, and I was completely played out by the time we were done. I was careful not to lift. I wasn't lifting the plywood. So what we did, and I want to qualify this. I didn't take any video yesterday. I kind of wanted to, but when I have somebody here helping me do something, I want to respect their time, and it's a judgment call because it's time consuming to set up tripods and videos and microphones and descriptions and do what I'm doing now while I have a guy standing there ready to work. So I didn't video anything. I just took a couple of stills. So I'll show those stills here, and I'll describe what you're seeing. So this picture shows that I set up a stack of pallets right beside the table saw. So the stack of pallets was the goal was to get it just higher than the fence on the table saw. So then what we could do was we went outside, and I can only lift about 5 sheets with my tractor. So we'd put 5 sheets on the forks. I would drive that in and set it on that stack of pallets. And I could do that over and over. So we would stack up 20 sheets at a time, and then we'd come in and rip them through the table saw. So that meant I was just pulling them from this stack over onto the table saw and then pushing them through. That takes enough effort, but there was no lifting. I was, completely standing erect the whole time. So I hope that was okay. I didn't feel there was any dramatic impact on my eye. I didn't feel there was any dramatic impact from dust on my eye. I was wearing my safety glasses the whole time, all that kind of thing. So I was trying to be careful. And God bless him, my buddy knew that. He knew my limitations, and anything that needed to be picked up or lifted or, whatever, he jumped right in there. And so he was a real godsend yesterday to help me get this stuff cut up. I wanted to cut up just, mainly get some work done, and also to get the lift, 44 sheets of plywood out of my backyard. That's like leaving a pot of gold in your backyard for somebody to come and take. So now I can squirrel it away in the building so it's at least out of sight. And then you can see over here where my buddy was just stacking the plywood on the pallets that you can see here today. That's about it up until today. I have to go out and clear some snow. I want to go out and clear some snow. Another buddy's coming over. He's got some things to pick up here, and he's going to stay for the afternoon and visit and whatnot. So I'm just going to go and clear some snow to make it easier for him to access what he needs to access. And then I'm not sure, but I might bring my stack of pallets back in here to the table saw and there's three of these skids. So these pieces over here, they're long and skinny. They're cut to the width of the covers. So those strips now will go to the radial arm saw once it's back in operation. I haven't quite finished it. And then these pallets, there's a whole whack of these sitting here. They get cut in two. They get cut in three actually, but they are as wide as a pallet. But there's two pallets worth of plywood there, so they just have to come back over table saw, go through once, and then I'll have two pallet sheets and an offcut. And the offcut will be narrow, but I'll use that narrow piece and I'll just butt glue them together and put them, make a pallet for myself out of those. It'll work just fine. It just look a little weird selling that to a customer, so I'll use that up myself. And so that's today. There's not a lot else going on. The weather has not been too bad. It's not really been windy, which is nice. Wind in the winter is always terrible. And the temperature is reasonable. It's moderate. I don't know what it is right now, but I think the high today is -8 or something like that. So that's a really nice winter day. Certainly a lot warmer than it was last year this time, but things can change pretty fast. So I got the bucket on the tractor, and that's a really great combo. You know, everybody has to buy equipment that they like. And let me tip this down and show you this little tractor that you see all the time. So I was clearing snow yesterday, and I needed to scoop up some snow in the bucket. So I put the bucket on instead of the forks. And what I wanted to say is, you know, of course I'm on the tractor forums and the Kubota forums and stuff, and people talk about snowblowers a lot, snowblowers. And people say, oh, why would you buy a rear snowblower? You know, kink in your neck, turned around all the time, so inconvenient. Yeah, you know, it's way more inconvenient than looking forward. That is absolutely true. That is the only advantage to a front snowblower, that you don't have to look backwards. And in a lot of cases, of people in their situations where they're clearing snow, they really need to have a snowblower on the front for getting into different places and maneuvering and whatnot. So it's absolutely awesome that those are available. However, here are the advantages to rear snowblower. The rear snowblower is probably 25% as complex and probably 50% the price of a front. A front, you've got a whole subframe assembly in the front, a carrier, a hitch thing in the front, and then the snowblower, and the whole thing, it has far more complexity to it. Therefore, price, and you know, more complexity, more things that are going to break. And putting it on, it takes a long time to put those on compared to putting a 3-point hitch attachment on. The rear PTO on a tractor generally is far more powerful than a mid PTO or front PTO. These have a mid PTO to drive something in the front. It's used for driving the mower, but that's just fine. But not all tractors have a mid or a front PTO, and if they don't, you want a front blower. You've got to have a whole undercarriage that goes way up to the back, hooks to the back PTO, runs a chain drive thing to front. So you're getting the idea. But the absolute greatest advantage for my situation is the fact that I got this bucket. I've got the forks and I've got the bucket. I've got the loader on this tractor all the time. I don't have to change anything out because you've seen me, I do forks work all the time. I rarely actually use the bucket. But I put the bucket on because sometimes in the winter here, we'll get a lot of snow and a lot of wind, and then the snow gets, the drifts are so hard that I can't even get them with the snowblower. I can't push through them. So I use the bucket, and I smash through the snow and break it up, and then I can move it with the snowblower. Also, the bucket I can scrape down to the ground better. I can back drag. I can carry snow and dump it. I can I can move snow around areas that might have debris like rocks and sticks, because you can't run those through a snowblower. You just blow shear pins all day long, and that's terrible. So a lot of advantages here that I enjoy for having a rear snowblower. Do I like looking backwards? No, I don't. But you don't really look backwards. You know, you just kind of look to the side. You can see the side of the snowblower, kind of to the side, and all you need to see is where your cut line is, and that's all. You don't actually look backwards. You just kind of mostly look to the side. And I scoot sideways on the seat, so my neck isn't really craning backwards too much. It's looking to the side a little bit like that, and that's all. I do feel it though. I do feel there's a difference in my neck, left to right, because it's a long time to looking kind of like that all day. That's farmer's neck, right? Always looking behind the tractor. So anyway, that's a little something about rear and front snowblowers. And you know, for some reason, people online always kind of want to make you feel like you're wrong for choosing what you choose, and nobody's wrong for choosing a front snowblower if their application. But if someone is wondering if they don't have one, maybe they bought a tractor and they don't have a snowblower, and thinking, you know, if somebody were to ask me, well, should I get a front or a rear? Well, that's what I'm going to tell them. So, well, you get whatever you want, but here's the difference in my experience and from what I know. You know, difficulty or way more complex, way more money for the front one, and you lose your bucket is the big downsides to the front. I mean, everybody knows the advantage to the front. You sit there, you drive, and you got your front snowblower, and you turn the crank, and that's the advantage, right? So if that's the advantage, if that advantage is worth more to you than the disadvantage, then lay your money down and get yourself a front blower. That's what you need to do. This works for me. In my situation, I would not want to lose my loader. You know, I use my loader all the time, so I need to keep that loader. And the money, like even this one, I think these are, I don't know, $2,500, $3,000 for that rear snowblower. I mean, that's a Kubota, brand new Kubota rear snowblower. You know, you can get used Farm Kings and stuff for less than that, but you know, you can buy a brand new one. If you're going to buy a front, you're going to buy a brand new one likely, and the brand new one's going to run you probably around twice that. So, you know, you buy whatever you want to pay for. So I want to say hi to everybody who's gone to Hive Life. I think I'm the only person who's not at Hive Life. It just wasn't in the cards for me. I really wanted to go, but maybe next year. The true farmer, right? Maybe next year. So have a great time at Hive Life this weekend. It looks like a great show. I've got quite a few friends that are there, and I hope they have a really good time too. And everybody has safe travels to and from, and a really great time while you're there. So I'll leave you with that. Have a great weekend. Take care. Have fun.